Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Tonight, prepare yourself for one of the most unsettling deep dives we've ever taken. We're traveling into the hidden corners of Mexico, places that hold secrets carved into stone, buried beneath jungles, sealed inside forgotten caves, and whispered through ancient ruins. These aren't ordinary archaeological finds. These discoveries shook researchers, terrified witnesses, and raised questions that may never be answered. So sit back, turn off the lights, and let's begin our journey through 5 discoveries unearthed in Mexico that were never meant to see the light of day. Our story begins in the blistering Sonoran Desert, where heat shimmers like a living creature and the air carries the scent of dust and silence. A team of researchers exploring a remote plateau found an opening hidden behind a cluster of boulders. Wind had carved the entrance into a narrow slit, barely wide enough to fit a human body. Inside, the temperature dropped instantly, and the sound of the outside world vanished completely. As they moved deeper, the walls began to change from rough stone into smooth surfaces covered in markings. Thousands of symbols spiraling across the cave like a language lost in time. One of the researchers, a linguist named Alvarez, noticed something eerie. The symbols weren't carved, they were burned into the rock, perfect circles, flawless lines, and shapes that didn't match anything seen in Aztec, Maya, or Olmec cultures. As they advanced, they heard something, a faint tapping sound echoing through the passage. Tap, tap, tap. Slow and rhythmic, almost like breathing. When they reached the final chamber, they found a stone wall built inside the cave, clearly not natural. Alvarez tapped the surface lightly, and a hollow thud answered from the other side. The team chiseled through the wall, revealing a small, hidden room. Curled in the center was a skeleton, but this wasn't like any human remains they had ever studied. The skull was elongated, stretching backward as if something had pulled it. The eye sockets were larger than normal, and the jaw was narrow, almost delicate. But the worst part, the bones were arranged as if the body had been placed there willingly, hands folded, knees tucked. Head bowed, the team documented everything, then left to rest before returning in the morning. When they came back, the skeleton was gone. All that remained was a circle of fine dust. No animal tracks. No signs of movement, nothing. Just the cave, silent and undisturbed, as if it had swallowed its secret back into the earth. Far to the south, deep in the jungles of Chiapas, there is a lagoon the locals refuse to approach. Birds avoid it. Insects vanish near it. Even the wind goes still above the black water. For generations, villagers whispered that the lagoon was cursed, that spirits guarded something beneath its surface. But in 2018, a team of divers decided to explore it. The moment they entered the water, the temperature dropped sharply. Their breath sounded too loud in their helmets, and their flashlights illuminated particles drifting through the blackness like ashes. About 40 feet down, a diver named Morales spotted something square emerging from the darkness. It was a massive stone doorway lying flat on the lake bed, covered in carvings. But these carvings didn't depict gods or heroes. They showed faces with their mouths wide open in terror, eyes carved so deeply they seemed to sink into the stone forever. Morales reached out and touched the surface. The moment he did, his flashlight flickered violently. The light sputtered, went out for 2 seconds, then snapped back on. That's when he froze. Someone, or something, was standing behind him. A tall, thin figure, motionless, its arms hanging unnaturally low. Morales spun around, but nothing was there, only the black water. When the team watched the footage later, they saw it, a shadow. Long, impossibly long, crossing the doorway behind Morales. No diver was near it. No equipment could cast that shape. The shadow moved slowly, deliberately, as if observing them. The divers abandoned the expedition immediately, The lagoon is now completely off limits. In the mountains of Puebla, an old farmhouse sat alone on a windswept hill, its windows shattered, its walls sagging with age. Local children dared each other to approach it, but even the bravest refused to step inside. Archaeologists surveying the area noticed something strange beneath the house, a pattern in the soil that suggested tunnels. They excavated and discovered a network of narrow, hand-carved passageways running beneath the property. The air inside was icy cold, carrying a faint metallic smell. As they explored, they found wooden boxes sealed with obsidian shards. The shards had been placed carefully around the lid, almost like a protective barrier. One researcher broke a box open. The moment the lid cracked, a foul, rotten smell spread through the tunnel. Inside was a doll, crafted from clay, straw, and human hair. But the most disturbing detail was the mouth. It was filled with real human teeth, arranged in a grim smile. As they lifted the doll, the temperature dropped so sharply that the archaeologist's breath became visible. Then the whispering began. At first it was soft, like wind through grass. But it grew louder and louder, dozens of voices, hundreds, all overlapping, all whispering in a language no one understood. One member of the team ran for the exit, convinced the walls were closing in. They sealed the tunnels and vowed never to return. Locals say the farmhouse still groans at night, even without wind. Meanwhile, in the Yucatan Peninsula, near a cenote sacred to the Maya, archaeologists uncovered a narrow pit sealed with ancient stones. As they removed the final slab, a wave of hot air rushed out, as if the pit had been holding its breath for centuries. When they shone their lights inside, they saw bones, thousands of bones stacked in perfect spirals. Human remains, animal remains, all arranged intentionally, forming patterns too precise to be accidental. At the center of the spiral was a mask made of polished stone. Its surface was smooth except for the eyes, two deep hollows carved so perfectly they looked bottomless. A worker reached down to lift the mask, but he dropped it immediately. He said it felt warm, not like sun, warmed stone, but like skin. That night he woke screaming. He claimed he saw the mask floating over him, staring with its empty eyes. He quit the excavation the next morning and refused to go near any ancient site ever again. Our final discovery takes us to Oaxaca, where researchers stumbled upon a settlement lost to history. While exploring a collapsed building, they found a hidden room sealed behind a thick stone wall. When they broke through, dust filled the air, revealing a small chamber with a single stone table in the center. The dust covered everything, except for one perfect handprint in the middle of the table. A fresh handprint, human-sized, as if someone had pressed their hand there only minutes before, but no one had entered the room for centuries. The team stared at the mark in stunned silence, trying to make sense of it. Then they noticed the carvings on the walls, dozens of figures kneeling before a tall, faceless entity. No eyes, no mouth, no nose, just a smooth surface where its face should have been. The team left the chamber uneasy, planning to return the next day with more equipment. But when they came back, the handprint was gone, and in its place were new handprints, 5 of them arranged in a perfect circle around the table, as if something had come during the night, something that listened, something that waited. Mexico is a land of breathtaking landscapes and ancient civilizations, but beneath the beauty lies a darkness older than history. These discoveries remind us that the past is not always silent. Sometimes it watches us, sometimes it follows us, and sometimes it warns us. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this chilling journey into Mexico's hidden mysteries, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more terrifying stories from around the world. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe and stay curious.